What if the world you call reality is just a projection, a smokescreen, and the key to true freedom lies hidden in a book you may have never truly read? There's a subtle restlessness in many of us, a persistent feeling that something doesn't quite fit. We see patterns repeating, the same struggles, the same illusions, the same narratives unfolding in different settings. This sensation is the same one that, in ancient times, led people to question the nature of existence, to search beyond the veil, to unravel the mysteries of the cosmos and the soul. It's the voice of intuition whispering that there's more, much more than our physical eyes can see or our ears can hear. It's as if we're living within a predefined narrative, an invisible script, without ever realizing that we might have the power to rewrite it. Imagine for a moment the idea of a matrix, not the one from science fiction movies with computers and green code, but a subtler, older matrix, woven not from digital threads, but from beliefs, conditioning, and collective narratives passed down to us since birth. An invisible web of perceptions and rules that tells us who we are, what's possible, and how the world works. This matrix creates our reality, and we, like most of its inhabitants, operate within it without questioning, unaware of the invisible walls surrounding us. It's an illusion so perfect that we forget it's an illusion. And then, to the surprise of many, we find clues to this matrix in unexpected places. Not in secret internet forums or modern conspiracy theories, but in ancient texts, in millennia-old scriptures that for many are merely stories of faith or morality. The Bible, for example, one of the most read and interpreted books in human history, contains passages that, when viewed in a different light, seem to describe this same dynamic of a programmed reality and the key to transcending it. One such passage resonates with striking clarity. Luke 11:23. "He who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters." At first glance, this phrase might seem like a simple statement of loyalty or a warning, but what if its depth goes far beyond that? What if being with me isn't about an external figure or a religion, but about aligning with a universal truth, with the very essence of reality? And what if scattering means living in fragmentation, in opposition to oneself, perpetuating chaos and disunity within the matrix? This passage invites us to a fundamental choice, to align our consciousness with unity, or to remain in the illusion of separation. Since time immemorial, ancient sages understood the dual nature of existence. The Egyptians, with their worship of Ma'at, sought balance and harmony, knowing that disharmony led to chaos. The Indian Vedas, with their concept of Maya, described the material world as an illusion, a veil obscuring the true reality. Greek philosophers like Plato, with his allegory of the cave, illustrated the lives of people trapped in the perception of shadows, mistaking them for reality. All these narratives across different eras and cultures pointed to a matrix, a system of beliefs and limited perceptions that prevents us from seeing the fullness of who we truly are and the universe we inhabit. Our lives, with all their complexities and challenges, are often the direct result of the script we operate within this matrix. Our beliefs about money, relationships, health, success, all of it is programmed. And the subtlest part is that we don't realize we're operating within a program. It's like a fish that doesn't question the water it lives in. It accepts it as its only reality. In this context, the Bible can be seen not just as a religious text, but as an esoteric manual for escaping the matrix. It contains keys, codes, and veiled teachings that, when interpreted through a deeper spiritual and psychological lens, reveal the nature of reality and the path to liberation. This isn't about literal interpretation, but about seeking the universal, wisdom that transcends time and culture. If you're here watching this video, it's likely because a curiosity about the nature of reality, about the matrix surrounding us, is already stirring within you. It's a sign that your soul yearns for an understanding that goes beyond the surface. And if you want to embark on this journey with us, consider subscribing to the channel and engaging with this video so that more people can uncover these mysteries. The phrase from Luke 11:23, "He who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters," takes us straight to the heart of our experience within this matrix. What does it mean to be with me? In the context of our discussion, with me can be interpreted as being aligned with unity, with universal truth, with the very essence of love and consciousness that sustains the universe. It's the opposite of separation, of fragmentation. Consider the psychology of the ego. The ego is the part of us that feels separate, that seeks validation, that competes, judges, and defends itself. It's our identity within the matrix, built from our experiences, wounds, and beliefs. When we operate from the ego, we are against unity, scattering our energy, fragmenting our consciousness. We create divisions, me against others, me against the world, me against God. This is the very essence of the matrix of illusion. Ancient shamans from various indigenous tribes understood the web of life, the interconnectedness of everything. They didn't see themselves as separate from nature, animals, or spirits. To them, everything was with me, part of the same cosmic dance. Their ceremonies and rituals were ways of aligning with this unity, of gathering energy, of healing themselves and their communities through reintegration. For them, illness was often a sign of disharmony, of scattering vital energy, of going against the natural flow. The question posed by Luke 11:23 urges us to reflect on our internal coherence. Our lives are often a patchwork of contradictory thoughts, conflicting emotions, and misaligned actions. We want prosperity but fear success. We desire love but close ourselves off to vulnerability. We dream of peace but cling to anger and resentment. This is the essence of scattering, of dissipated energy, of a life force that disintegrates. We are against ourselves and, consequently, against the natural flow of the universe. Think of Norse mythology and the story of Loki. Loki, the god of trickery and discord, constantly pits one against another, spreading chaos wherever he goes. He's not inherently evil, but his nature is one of fragmentation, of disintegrating certainties. He lives against order, not aligning with the unity of the gods of Asgard. The result of his actions is always chaos, which, while sometimes necessary for change, leads to destruction when it becomes a constant state. The matrix feeds on this discord, this internal and external fragmentation, as it perpetuates the illusion of separation. The key to escaping this matrix, to gathering instead of scattering, lies in aligning our thoughts, feelings, and actions. When what we think, feel in our hearts, and do in the world are in harmony, we create a coherent force, an energy that becomes a magnet for the reality we desire. This is the essence of manifestation, of co-creation. It's when we stop fighting against ourselves and start flowing with our deepest truth. This isn't an external search for a savior, it's an inner journey of integration. Behavioral psychology shows us how our habits and thought patterns are reinforced by repetition. If you constantly dwell in thoughts of scarcity and fear, you strengthen the neural pathways that perpetuate this matrix of scarcity and fear. But by consciously changing your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you begin to build new neural pathways, new realities within the matrix. It's like rewriting the source code of your own program. Many seek magical solutions, complex rituals, or secret formulas to escape the matrix. But the truth, as always, is paradoxically simple yet profoundly challenging. The way out lies in presence and responsibility. Presence to observe your own mind, to see the threads of the matrix that condition you, and responsibility to choose in every moment whether you will gather or scatter, whether you will align your consciousness with unity or perpetuate the illusion of separation. And what does the Bible say about this fundamental choice? That he who is not with me is against me. With me here isn't just a person, but the universal principle of coherence, of love, and of unity. It's the force that organizes chaos into cosmos. When we align with this force, there's no room for fragmentation, for scattering. Action becomes intentional, thought becomes clear, and feeling becomes loving. But here lies the deeper philosophical and spiritual mystery. If the key to escaping, the matrix and gathering instead of scattering, lies in internal coherence and alignment with unity, why is it so hard to maintain that coherence? And what prevents us, even with all our knowledge and intention, from sustaining this state of being with me continuously, transcending the matrix once and for all? The answer to this mystery may lie in the very nature of our being and the depth of our conditioning. We are not just conscious beings. We are also unconscious ones, carrying the memories, traumas, and patterns not only of our individual lives, but of our lineages, our cultures, and perhaps even past lives. The matrix isn't just external programming. It has become so intrinsic to us that we mistake it for our own identity. It's like trying to see your own eye. It's the tool of vision, but it cannot see itself directly without a mirror. The Jungian shadow, that hidden part of the psyche, containing everything we deny about ourselves, is one of the greatest obstacles to coherence. Within it, we store fears, anger, shame, guilt, and repressed desires. These repressed energies don't disappear. They operate behind the scenes, scattering our energy, sabotaging our intentions, and keeping us imbalanced. The matrix feeds on these incoherences, on this lack of integration within our being. Consider the story of King Arthur and the quest for the Holy Grail. The Grail wasn't just a physical object. It was a symbol of wholeness, of spiritual integrity. The knight's journey was filled with trials, not just external but internal. Many failed because they couldn't face their own shadows, their own flaws and fears. They couldn't gather all parts of themselves to become worthy of the Grail's vision. They were scattering their energy in internal divisions, rivalries, and a lack of self-knowledge. The Grail, the way out of the matrix, only reveals itself to those who are whole, those who are with me, with the totality of their being. What part of you is still operating against your true self? And how is this fragmentation keeping you trapped in the matrix? The difficulty in maintaining coherence and sustaining the state of being with me isn't a moral failing, but an inherent challenge of the complexity of the human psyche. We carry not only the personal unconscious, but also the collective unconscious, a vast repository of experiences, symbols, and patterns shared by humanity. For millennia, we've been programmed for survival in a world of duality, of predator and prey, of scarcity and struggle. This ancestral programming, while useful in certain historical contexts, now keeps us trapped in a matrix of perception that no longer serves our growth. Psychoanalysis, in its various forms, shows us how unresolved past traumas and unconscious patterns dictate our reactions, fears, and self-sabotage in the present. A child who grew up feeling inadequate, for example, may, as an adult, unconsciously sabotage their success to stay within a limiting comfort zone built by the ego. This is scattering energy, going against one's own capacity to thrive. Healing isn't just about awareness, it's about releasing the energy trapped in these patterns. And how do we release this energy and reintegrate what has been scattered? Through radical acceptance. Acceptance isn't passive resignation, it's the courageous acknowledgement of everything as it is, without judgment. Accepting your shadows, your fears, your imperfections, your failures, your wounds. When you accept, you strip away the power that these denied parts held over you in the unconscious. The energy once trapped in repression is freed and can be used to gather, to integrate, to strengthen your coherence. It's as if the dismembered pieces of Osiris are finally brought together, allowing rebirth. Think of the metaphor of a warrior who refuses to look at their own wounds. They may fight bravely, but the untreated infection will eventually bring them down. True strength lies not in ignoring the pain, but in facing it, cleansing it, and allowing it to heal. The Matrix thrives on our denial, on our resistance to looking at what causes internal discomfort. This radical acceptance leads to unshakable authenticity. When you have nothing to hide from yourself, there's no longer a need to kneel, to please others, to fit into patterns that aren't yours, or to seek external approval. Your voice becomes clearer, your actions more aligned, and your presence more powerful. You're no longer operating from the Matrix's script, but from your own divine script, written in your soul. And the final act, which transcends all others, is unconditional love. Not just love for others, but love for yourself in all your facets. Love is the highest frequency, the unified field of all existence, the force that gathers everything and dissolves any illusion of separation. When you love unconditionally, you become the embodiment of the unity that Luke 11:23 speaks of. You're no longer against anything. You're with everything. This is why the great spiritual traditions, at their core, always return to love. Not as a sentimental feeling, but as a state of consciousness that embraces wholeness. Unconditional love is the way out of the Matrix, the antidote to fear, the key to true freedom. What are you still refusing to accept about yourself that's preventing you from living in the fullness of love and authenticity? Are you ready to rise, claim your wholeness, and live the truth that the power resides within you, dissolving the need to kneel? The final revelation is that the Matrix isn't an enemy to be fought out there, but an illusion to be dissolved from within. And the key to dissolving it, so you never have to kneel again, is recognizing and living your own intrinsic divinity. The forbidden truth is that you are the creative force, the consciousness experiencing life, the intelligence that organizes chaos into order. You are the very essence of love and power. This isn't about ego, but about essence. It's not about control, but about flow. It's not about power over others, but power within yourself. When you embrace this truth, your life becomes a reflection of your magnificence, and the world around you begins to reorder itself to mirror this new reality. If this deep conversation resonated with your soul and sparked a new understanding within you, I invite you to share your thoughts. Leave the word unity in the comments to let me know how this video helped you reconnect with your inner truth and recognize your own divinity. Like this video if it inspired a new perspective. Subscribe to the channel to continue this journey of self-knowledge, and share it with someone else searching for the wholeness that resides within.